In 2015, Mozambique promulgated a new penal code with provisions specifically criminalizing domestic violence, permitting abortion in certain circumstances, clearly prescribing sexual offences, including harassment against minors and human trafficking offences, and criminalizing harmful traditional practices. The revised penal code also removed the Portuguese colonial-era criminalisation of consensual same-sex sexual conduct.
A revisão do Código Penal em Moçambique já era necessária, já se fazia necessária, porque, como já foi referenciado várias vezes pelas várias equipas de estudo, a revisão do Código Penal é importante, primeiro porque nós estamos a falar de um Código Penal de 1888. 1800. Portanto, muito tempo. Segundo, foi produzido numa altura em que, de facto, os valores da sociedade eram os valores da sociedade colonial portuguesa.
The revised Mozambique Constitution, enacted in 2004, contains strong equality provisions that recognize the equal rights of all citizens, regardless of color, race, sex, ethnic origin, place of birth, religion, level of education, social position, marital status of parents, profession, or political preference.
Mozambique reviewed its penal code from 1886 in 2014. The new penal code came into force in June 2015. The penal code, I think, was as much a political as well as legislative triumph.
2010 saw the first Commission on Human Rights and Constitutional Issues begin a process to review the Mozambique Penal Code of 1886. A penal code is a compiled list that defines and describes all of the offences as well as the laws which can be applied and the punishments that can be given.
The Judge Association worked with us during this process of discussing the human rights in the penal code. And after this process, when they start the revision again, they invite this association. Okay. And this association was our partner.
We as a feminist organization, one of the issues that we wanted the penalization of the perpetrators of sexual harassment or sexual abuse on women.
Okay.
We also wanted the issue of abortion to be part of the penal code.
Por exemplo, eles pegaram numa lei específica, de especialidade, como a lei contra a violência doméstica, escolheram alguns artigos desta lei e puseram no Código Penal.
Yes.
Sem dizer se esta estava revogada ou não. Yeah. Porque eles sabiam que quando dissessem está revogada, saíamos para a rua. Então deixaram nesta ambiguidade. E esta ambiguidade com certeza que começou a criar problemas.
But does the code go far enough in protecting the needs of marginalized communities, vulnerable groups, women and children? The study found that, amongst others, the old penal code defined sexual assault and sanctions according to whether the person assaulted was a virgin or not. The new provisions discard the value-ridden notion and replace it with age-related delineations. The sentencing for sexual assault is dependent on the judge or magistrate's discretion. There is a sense that the difference in the age of sexual consent creates contradictions and confusion. While the code criminalizes the act of facilitating prostitution, prostitution itself is not clearly defined as a crime. There is a call from civil society for the decriminalisation of sex work. The 2015 Penal Code provides extensive provisions on domestic violence. The challenge is an equally comprehensive Domestic Violence Act that provides for the crime as a third-party crime. There is a substantial difference between the Penal Code and the Domestic Violence Act. Third-party reporting is a major step forward. It means that anyone who witnesses the violence may report the crime. The Penal Code does not make any reference to third-party reporting. The anomalies between the Penal Code and the Domestic Violence Act creates legal options for cases of domestic violence. judicial officers can choose which law to effect and what sentences to apply. A new set of provisions around the transmission of sexually transmitted infections and acquired immune deficiency syndrome through coitus raises questions around what constitutes credible evidence. This requires further discussion and engagement with the medical fraternity.
Sobretudo, por exemplo, porque trouxe para o Código Penal aspectos que, de facto, dão uma maior proteção. As questões têm que ver com o abuso da mulher. Por exemplo, os casos de violência sexual, creio que encontrar uma maior proteção no Código Penal. As questões também de violência doméstica, encontrar uma maior proteção no Código Penal.
Women can, under the new code, terminate their pregnancies during the first 12 weeks, except in the case of rape, which would extend the legal period to 16 weeks. It also stipulates that abortions would have to be carried out in approved health centres by qualified practitioners. Abortion is available as a free service in Mozambique. To have an abortion, women over the ages of 16 provide consent for themselves. Anyone below the age of 16 requires consent from someone over 21.
Ele começou com várias situações em termos de mortalidade que se fazia sentir a nível dos hospitais, de uma maneira geral em todo o país, mas com maior nós temos evidências daqui do nível central, olhando para o Hospital Central, de Maputo e outros hospitais nas províncias, né? Então,
ele já deu as diretrizes, não? Criou o fluxograma e tudo. Eu pensei que cabe a cada província, a cada direção provincial de saúde, distrital, a nível da unidade sanitária, organizar um programa, porque existem os comitês de saúde, existem os comitês de cogestão, existem os líderes comunitários numa área de saúde.
Esses 4 ou 5 que mencionei são aquelas pessoas que aparecem para fazer, mas aparecem muitos abortos feitos fora.
One of the challenges is actually we have like a main one since we have opened on the 2006. In 2008 we submit registration for organization, and then we didn't have still until nowadays our organization registered already. So this is the one of the big our challenge, because we don't have like registered our organization.
É complicado dizer, porque acho que nem eles aceitam ainda que nós existimos. Não aceitam. É complicado dizer, mas tem muita coisa para se fazer. Muita coisa mesmo. Muita. Para que parem de nos apontar os dedos na rua, possamos ficar à vontade nos sítios públicos, possamos ter empregos facilmente, que possamos entrar nos hospitais facilmente. Muita coisa, muito trabalho ainda para se fazer.
Human trafficking is recognized as a crime in the Penal Code in Article 196. The article is brief and covers all forms of human slavery. The details of the specific crimes and sanctions are included in human trafficking legislation.
The motivation of the revision of the Penal Code, I think it was rushed in a context where there were lots of cases of abduction. The justice system realized that there was no enough legislation that would penalize what we call in Mozambique sequestro.
On the matter of the implementation of the 2015 Penal Code, there is a sense that more must be done to affect the rights envisioned in the policy framework.
We as a civil society, we want to make it public, because women, they don't know that there is this law. When they go to the health centers, they don't get the service. They have to pay the nurses to get the service. why it's not supposed to be like this. But because they don't know, it's not public. It's like we still have this challenge.
Nós, pelo nosso dia a dia, pelo corre-corre, ficamos na plateia, ficamos a assistir, na verdade. Não participamos diretamente nas decisões, mas sentimos o calor das decisões, dos debates que houve a nível do país. Participamos, se calhar, em um ou dois seminários de escutação. Não foi aquela participação, digamos, efetiva.
And so we found that there were many barriers to access. So we actually saw that young women, this was in quite rural areas in Nampula and Zambezia provinces. So we saw that young women, they know that it's safer to go to a health facility for an abortion. But there are many barriers that mean that they still end up having an unsafe abortion.
So after approval, we do not have a practical instrument.
Implementation.
E também quero dizer que não é justo que aconteça conosco as mulheres. As mulheres são violadas, são abusadas. Quando metem queixa, ninguém responde por eles. Será que a mulher não tem direito a uma voz ativa, a uma reclamação? Será que esses violadores não têm direito a uma prisão? Uma pessoa é detida hoje de manhã, às 12h14, já está fora da prisão. Será que isso é justo? Eu não acho justo.